Alrighty, whoop-de-doo. Hey, this is a brand new idea, a vlog format. Sorry about the reflectivity off of the glasses. Maybe I can turn this down a little bit. Not needing to be so totally enamored of my own visage as I visit with you. So, never did a vlog really before, so there's no particular topic. This is zero nicotine, organic mango, basically in vegetable glycerin. So relaxing for the oral fixation. So non-intoxicating for the quality law services. So, here I am in my 30th year of practice. Just thought I'd kind of reflect on what's going on right now. I think the most interesting thing that's going on, obviously, is the federal stand down, which has kind of been in the news, and now we're sort of seeing how that settles out. You've seen this before, maybe on one of my other videos. This is a copy of Section 538, which is the cromnibus portion about medical marijuana, which says the government's not going to be spending any funds from their current budget with respect to those states that have authorized the use, distribution, possession, or cultivation of medical marijuana. And that's tremendous. That's the biggest news, since sliced bread. So I'm almost ready to crack the champagne and acknowledge how great that is. But it's hard to know if the government's setting people up for a fall. For instance, the tax situation is still very fucked up on medical marijuana. Also, the possibility of forfeiture still exists, or unfair or uneven application of the law, like selective prosecution. But it is true for a lot of people right now that there is a relaxing of stress that they've had for many years as caregivers or as people who've been helping their marijuana patients. We've also seen a proliferation of interesting products. Now let's see, that's the Bang Bar cannabis chocolate, and this one says that it's 52% coca and it's hybrid strains with milk chocolate. Minimum cannabinoid content 180 milligrams. So they're claiming 180 milligrams for 1.5 ounces of chocolate. So I guess you could break it up into maybe 20 little pieces, and each piece has 9 milligrams of cannabinoid. And they're stating that the cannabinoid content is almost all THC with less than 5 parts out of 50. So about 1/10 is CBD and about 1/10 is CBN, and the rest is THC. And it contains cocoa butter, solids. This one's great. Sugar, cherries, milk, cannabis, vanilla, soy, lecithin, natural flavor. This one is cherries and cream by Bang Medicinal Chocolate. And you could find them on the web. There's no secret. Here's another interesting product. This one is Pure Gold. And I'm not endorsing these products, by the way. Pure Gold is a fast-acting, smokable or edible extract. It's made without PEG or any other. It says it has no other ingredients other than 95% cannabinoid oil and 5% limonene. Limonene is a traditional flavor that comes in natural marijuana. But what they do with Pure Gold is they remove all of the terpenes that are naturally existing, including limonene and other delicious flavor components. So unfortunately, this product in its preparation strips out the terpene or flavor content, and then they try to reintroduce a flavor with limonene. Now, limonene is a good flavor, and it's typical of sativas, but I don't think it's the same to have an artificially added flavor. I think one of the interesting things about the way that medical marijuana works is that it does contain other things than the cannabinoids. Like maybe in the 70s or 80s, before all of the research had been done, people used to assume, well, each different strain must have different ratios of cannabinoids. And while that may still be true on a micro level, what's really making the difference between the flavors is not the ratios, in my opinion. I think it is probably the terpenes or flavor components which affect the way that the cells absorb or metabolize or utilize the THC. But in any event, they are kind of acknowledging that in the sense that they have tried to reintroduce in the pure gold product one of the terpenes. But no, I think that the natural marijuana has a natural blend of terpenes that's superior. Let's see, do I have any other cool products to show you around here? People do bring in things now and then. Of course, I'm always fascinated by the hardware like this, the vaping hardware. This could be used for a cannabis product. The oil would go right in here, and this is a very clean way for patients to get their cannabis infusion. But unfortunately, or fortunately, this one is just mango flavor, and it is very delicious. So when it comes to people's major questions about how to interact with the government with reference to medical marijuana, they're always coming up with issues that are either federal, state, or local. And so part of what I do here is automatically give people the data on federal, state, and local in a way that I think they find easy to digest and organized. And then people always surprise me with the interesting hypotheticals and questions that they come up with. For instance, many are surprised to find out that even here in the city of Los Angeles, where there's so much regulation on medical marijuana storefronts, etc., that there are about a half a dozen different types of businesses that may be able to serve patients with reference to medical marijuana that may not even know it, including home health agents and hospices. They are exempt from Prop D, and that's an interesting thing to think about. Oh man, yummy. It's like a mango dessert explosion. So when people come into the office, we spend an hour, we go through the law. They present their hypotheticals after I walk through the law with them. My website contains a list of my prices and services. Nowadays, people are really interested in getting this data quickly because there's so much going on and so much is constantly changing. I'm proud of keeping up on top of that. I'm about to be an expert witness in a case for one for each of the Margolins, one for Bruce and one for Allison. I'm excited about being able to go again in front of a jury. Being an expert witness has been an interesting experience for me. I was just contacted by someone yesterday and emailed, and so I'm going to be working on that trial. And that's a trial of someone who has a medical marijuana collective. And really, I think they were singled out unfairly, and now they're being forced to raise the medical marijuana defense. And one of the angles in that case is that it's really a Prop D case. Really, the city attorney should have brought a misdemeanor, but they just targeted this guy, made up some weird evidence, and now all of a sudden it's a felony. It's some serious felonies. So I look forward to helping dispel the myths in that case and helping present the reality of the medical marijuana defense for that group. So with reference to this environment and this page, those are my main functions. I'm involved with representing people to understand the law. I'm involved with explaining the law to juries in the capacity of an expert witness. And then finally, I'll mention that I also engage in litigation, and I'm currently involved with some attorneys I really respect that have formed a team with me in litigation with reference to the City of Los Angeles and Proposition D. I have a lot of opinions about Prop D. I do not believe it was procedurally passed correctly, and I don't even think it could be procedurally passed correctly because the substance of it is itself improper. And by that I mean I don't think it's appropriate for law to exist to favor one group over another. That's the opposite of what I think law is about. That's like a tyranny and like a fascism or a crony capitalism. We have a republic, we have equal protection, so I don't think it's fair, for instance, in the city of LA, that a whole bunch of pre-existing businesses that are the older businesses, therefore they have more financial capacity, to get together and to utilize their power and their money to influence union people and to bring union people to influence city councils, to give city councilmen contributions to get a referendum on the ballot and to put their resources into getting the votes to get that passed when that law specifically butters their bread. I mean, that's the exact opposite of fairness in the way our system should be working. So Prop D is essentially a monopoly that was created by a group of people who benefit from that monopoly. That's why it's essentially unfair. To put it into perspective, imagine if it was a different industry. For example, let's pretend that all restaurants that had been open in Los Angeles City prior to 1999 got together and got something on the ballot that said, you know, if you hadn't been open since 1999, you really haven't been in business, you know, long enough to know enough about the restaurant business, so you got to close. Sorry. It doesn't matter that you've been there, that you have clientele, that you have a lease, that you have employees, that you have relationships, and marijuana, of course, with patients. No, we don't care about your right to associate or your existing tax registration certificate, seller's permit, and other compliant documents. All we care about is that you weren't open since 99, and what we're going to do is get a bunch of people to vote for that. Is that a fair scenario in our way of doing business and our way of living? Of course not. The whole essence of our American system, e pluribus unum, it's all for one and one for all. No group of people can come together and take away the rights of other people. That's the opposite of a right. That would lead us to the tyranny of the majority, or that the majority can take away the life, liberty, property, and happiness of the minority. That's not our country. What's so amazing about our American way is that no matter how many people want to take away someone's property, they can't take it away. No, not unless he's given due process, and not unless there's a legitimate reason why it's taken away, and a court orders that it can be taken away, and he gets paid for it. So ordinarily, to close someone's business, you have to pay them. You have to pay them for their time, their effort, their loss of expectancy, their loss on their lease, their loss on their build-out. And then you only can close them if there's a compelling and legitimate reason, and not just a made-up reason. And when you read the reasons that are behind Prop D, the findings, you'll see that a lot of them are just not true. A lot of times the findings give away the underlying, politics of the people that promulgate a rule. Let's see if I can pull up the findings on Prop D real quick. So let's see while my drive warms up what the findings are. Refresh myself of the findings in Prop D. Well, this proposition would regulate medical marijuana businesses by banning such businesses, but then granting immunity from the ban to those businesses that have operated since 2007. And here we have the financial impact statement, the arguments for and against. And let's see. Whereas the police have reported that as the number of marijuana dispensaries, etc., have proliferated, the city and its neighborhoods have experienced an increase in crime. Now, that is not really probably true. I mean, I don't own access to the records, but when the Rand Corporation did a study, and when many, many jurisdictions have looked at this situation, the exact opposite is true. Unless they are, faking the numbers by including marijuana activity that is technically not a crime as a crime. We have the experience that marijuana collectives tend to decrease crime. They decrease drunk driving, deaths, suicides, opiate overdoses, and opiate use. They create taxes. Marijuana is a wholesome thing. This whole marijuana prejudice, reefer madness, has got to go. This is completely ancient thinking, unsupported by science, and the idea that the city can sling together, and basically the affected businesses can sling together a bunch of false assumptions and non-scientific and unprovable statements and call that rational or rational basis, I think the time for that has come and gone. As far as I'm concerned, when I think about a rational basis test, I want to actually think about real rationality, something that's scientifically provable, something that is not just some bubba-mises. You know what a bubba-misa is? That's a granny story. So the last thing we need are granny stories to be the basis for government. Keep dropping my little empty marijuana chocolate. So anyway, it's been nice visiting. This is my first little vlog. Let's see, how long have I been yakking to a camera? A long time. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it, but I want to thank you very much for hanging out, and maybe we'll be visiting again soon. Otherwise, give me a call. We'll make an appointment and get you my services as described elsewhere on my YouTube channel and on my page. All right, take good care. Peace.